Okay.
We're going to have a discussion, right? So imagine you have a dream class right now. You have a teacher who's hopefully the one you would have wanted to hire, and I'm trying to have a democratic educational experience, right? A learning experience that is a discussion, right? And it's supposed to be collaborative, engaging, and motivating, challenging. It's supposed to be open to everybody's ideas. It's supposed to be explorative and respectful and explore different people's opinions and be questioning and curious and passionate. I'm going to try to do that. And do you remember the Lab 1s that we had? With Bobby Butt Kisser and Requirements Ray and everybody sitting and letting it go to shit and not saying anything, right? Today is the day where you fix that, right? If you see something that can make this conversation go better, throw it in. Because you talk about, oh, it's such a bummer that school isn't what it can be. Like, I see that learning is wild, so what can we possibly do? We're going to make it happen now, right? You make it happen when you talk to people. When you have an open conversation with somebody that gets you thinking about, oh, I didn't know about my mom. Maybe next time I sit down with her, I'll ask her a question. When I sit down with kids, it's the same thing. When I sit down in the classroom, it's the same thing. Talk, right? Make the change you want it to be. What topic are we learning? We can talk about anything under the sun. Last class, it was puppies and career advancement. The class before that, it was what's wrong with ED125. What do you all want to talk about? Anything under the sun. First person who has a passion will follow it.
Why do we learn inside a classroom? Why do we learn in our room?
Do people want to talk about that? Huh? You don't? Sal doesn't want it.
So, I don't know. Come up with something then.
Hey, and it's not either or. Maybe we can come up with something that addresses that. So what else could we talk about?
The Walking Dead.
No, I haven't seen the last episode.
Oh, okay.
Okay, nobody talks about The Walking Dead. That's cool.
You guys want to talk about batching? Just an idea.
Okay, so we're getting a theme right now. We're getting batching and why we're in classrooms. So we're talking about the structure of classes as it is now, right? Is that okay with people? Am I supposed to start this off, or does anybody have an idea that they want to lead with?
Does anyone have an experience of themselves being quote-unquote batched throughout their K through 12 education?
Oh, I've got a good one. I went to this thing on Valentine's Day called Dirty Laundry Readings, and it was called Love Sucks. But they were interviewing this Asian guy who was reading, and he says, man, it's so great to do the Dirty Laundry Readings thing, because whenever you go to readings, it's always like all Chicano audience, or all black audience, or all white audience, or all Asian audience, and I walk in there and I'm like, what the fuck are we doing here? But you walk into Dirty Laundry and it's everybody, all ages, all races, all like outfits, everybody from like suit and tie to like, you know, ghetto no shoes, and he loved it. So I was like, you know, when you think about that in terms of batching, or like inside a classroom, how insular is that to say that, oh, we can't have anybody below this GPA in their classroom. What if they have something to bring? What if they're all the people working at Domino's? And so you end up with a whole classroom full of people who have no idea what it's like to work in the fast food industry because they were all at like MIT or whatever, right? So batching actually could be anti-educational.
I think batching, it can lead to like psychological effects. Like I know that in like 9th grade, I got kicked out of the GATE program because I got a C in geometry, and I was super bummed. I'm like, oh my god, I'm not competent for this GATE program. And then all of my other friends were still in the program, so I was like, after that, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not as good enough as that. So I don't know. It could also have the opposite effect. Like people that are in the higher level could be like, oh, I'm better.
No, I asked her what is batching because I didn't understand.
Great, and maybe no one else did either. So guess what, right? Democratic discussion, bring it up. If you don't know, let everybody own that question.
But okay, what's batching?
So when you group kids together based on abilities or personalities.
The
Differences.
Jedi's and all that. The Jedi, Wookiees, and androids. Yeah. Was anyone in here like in no AP classes ever? Okay. Wow. I always felt like I'm like the only one in non-AP classes. So it's really cool.
Okay, so we had almost half this class has not been in AP classes. Now, Sal, you're usually the one who's like, okay, this shit sucks. So, in service of making this discussion challenging, what's the positive thing about batching? Why do we do it?
Well, I was gonna ask, like, is age? Do you guys want to consider age being batching?
We could, yeah.
Like, why though? Like, is someone gonna start kindergarten at 10 years old, and someone else is gonna start at 4 years old? So when they're in 4th grade, we have different variety of ages. Like, I feel like we're picking at batching just because we want something to pick at. Like, I do feel like, yes, you're right. I feel like, okay, it's shit, but we're picking at things that shouldn't be picked at. Like, let's talk about something else.
We shouldn't pick at things that are shitty?
That's not what I'm trying to say.
Like some things.
Some things are just being picked at too much, and they shouldn't be. Like, yeah, we should not batch creativity or AP classes. Like, I was never allowed in GATE, and I felt really bad. I don't agree with that sort of batching, but like age in itself, I don't really think that's a problem.
Okay. Yeah, so batching to a certain extent can be valuable, but like it can also be insular.
I feel like most of the time it's not good. Like, I don't know if this counts, but in 3rd grade, I was a really quiet child and I didn't really talk. So they put me in special friends, which is like supposed to be some social group thing. But everyone thought it was special ed, I guess. Like, so all the other 3rd graders were like, because I got pulled out of class for this thing. And it's just like, stuff like that. And all we did was play games, and it was all quiet kids, so no one talked to each other anyways. Like,
so you're saying it sort of like encourages the natural human tendency to divide people. Is that what you're saying?
It didn't really help because they put us all with quiet kids. I feel like quiet kids need maybe more social people to get them to speak. You know, like, you have all quiet kids, who's going to talk to each other?
Yeah. So you're talking about like the balance of society that's sort of, is that right?
Yeah,
That's what
like
we're talking
I think
about?
it could be useful to be with different types of people because it brings out stuff that you don't normally do yourself. Whereas opposed like-minded people do the same stuff all over again, and they just continue.
And that's one of the values, right, of like different perspectives. So you're saying that the way that it doesn't help education is that it
Yeah, it didn't help me at all.
gets in the way of hearing different perspectives and social balance. Okay, good. So, I mean, that was 5 minutes and not bad. Thank you for your thumb, Carl.
You're welcome.